some of these mayors around the country are going to find that there are investigations and possibly arrests being made of them. I want to show you that this is hang on one second. We're going to get to this because they're talking about no amnesty right now for any of these migrants that are here in this country illegally. And you know who does not like that? One single bit is Karen Bass out in California. It's Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York. It's Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York. It's Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston. And it's this guy in Chicago who said something so incredibly outrageous this week that I got to play it again because it's really important you hear this. He's got his own view on how he can sort of run the world there in Chicago, like it's its own little country. Because the Constitution doesn't matter? Watch.
And division. Look, we are a welcoming city ordinance. Our local police department will not ever cooperate with ICE. Whatever their constitutional authority is.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zorhan Mandami, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zorhan Mandami?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him.
You heard that. Well, we'll have to arrest him. That's the bottom line. We will have to arrest him. Because you know what? You can't just sit there and say, I'm going to do the opposite of what is actually federal law. So he's making that point on the guy who wants to be the next communist mayor of New York City. So when you consider what Brandon Johnson is saying out in Chicago or what Karen Bass is saying, I think you actually might be looking at, if we could get a DOJ that would get off their tail, right? Actual real problems for all of these people. So consider this. It's not just us that are saying, what the heck is going on? For Brandon Johnson, he's got a problem with his electorate as well. I mean, the voters have had it up to here. Like this woman, watch.
You all stood up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaigned and doubled down that you would not raise property tax. You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example of this right here first. Please come here first. Spend our tax dollars to go. Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. That's cool because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna ride? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
Wow, okay? And she's not the only one, okay? Voters are really kind of getting annoyed here. Here's another one.
You got Kash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're going to have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment.
Let's hope so, right? I mean, look, I do think that there's some funny things that are going on in Chicago. I mean, let's be honest. Chicago politics has a history of some funny things. But this guy, to just blatantly say that, like he doesn't care about the Constitution at all. I mean, voters are like, hey, you know what? You gotta, because you gotta protect the people that are actually here. Here's another one.
Mr. Brandon Johnson, I'm up here. I am speaking right now, so I would love your undivided attention, please. I'll wait. So this just proves to you the lack of leadership that you show in this city. You can't even give me straight eye contact. Now, I'm going to let you know now, The people of Chicago, we're done with you. It is insane how we have been voting Democrat for over 60 plus years, and we've never seen a change from people like you, Lori Lightfoot, Rob Emanuel. It is insane. Chicago was 37% red. In 2020, it was only 15%. So we're waking up. So you can pretend that this isn't happening, but I know for a fact that you will not have that seat the next election.
You so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens.
I think he's got a problem, right? I mean, I think people are getting to the point of no return, and that Chicago is a disaster. And if you're going to sit there and use people's tax dollars to support a group of people who came here illegally and that may have committed crimes, and you're going to fight for them more than you're going to fight for your constituents that are trying to play by the rules, then I think Mayor Johnson, you may have a problem. You know, Lori Lightfoot ran into a little bit of this, right? That's actually how you got the gig. So I suspect Chicago is primed, one, for a new mayor. Anybody can come in there and have a real good shot at winning there. Somebody who's actually promising to do the right thing for the people of Chicago as opposed to the people of the world, right? In this borderless society that everybody seems to want. On top of that, there's another factor at play. And it's like DEI on steroids. And it's like, hang on, buddy, did you not get the memo? Everybody else got the memo. Disney got the memo, and Disney's suffering the fate of this memo, right? Because now there's an investigation, courtesy of Brandon Carr and the FCC, looking into constitutional violations. Harvard University's gotten the memo. Supreme Court said, you can't just let someone in because of the color of their skin. I mean, you cannot be picking positions in a company or in a school or anywhere else just because somebody checks a box. Thank you very much. I want to play this clip and listen to this guy, again, Mayor of Chicago, saying all he's saying about how he hires. And think about it if it were like tables turned. What if this were, I don't know, like a white mayor saying, I hired this white man and this white woman and this white man and this white man and this white woman. I mean, you'd be like, have we not gotten beyond this, people? We are a meritocracy. That is what makes us the United States of America. We are a brilliant capitalist meritocracy, and nobody can compete with it. But the socialists come along and the communists come along, and they want to divide and conquer. So therefore, it's all about what you are on the exterior as opposed to who you are as a person and what you can deliver. Listen to this. This is sickening.
Detractors that will push back on me and say, the only thing that the mayor talks about is the hiring of black people. No, what I'm saying is when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. I don't know too many cultures that have play cousins. That's how generous we are. We just make somebody a family member, right? This is how we are. And so business and economic neighborhood development, the deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask, how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business?
It's just sort of mind-boggling. And, Leslie, I'm looking at your comment there saying we're never going to get past this. I mean, I hope we can get past this. Donald Trump has passed it. It's not like he's like, oh, well, this guy's this and this guy's that and that gal's this. By the way, first Treasury Secretary of the United States of America that happens to be gay, all right? I don't see them like touting that or screaming it from the rooftops because, frankly, it doesn't really matter, right? You want a Treasury Secretary that's competent. And Scott Bessent, according to all my sources, many of whom have worked directly with him, is absolutely positively brilliant. Okay, he is a bright guy. So if you want the best person in the job, you don't care about all this other stuff because you just want to be the most competitive country you can be. And the voters are on to this too. Listen to this one.
Thank the DOJ for opening up an investigation on the mayor's insane out of control DEI hiring. You said in a recent interview that black people don't just look out for ourselves, but for everyone else as well. Well, clearly they're not getting the memo because they're destroying downtown and they're destroying the city with things like teen takeover. And when you say things like this, it just makes you look more incompetent and racist as a mayor. You need to start pushing more law and order in the city of Chicago. Help the police do their job. I am asking you all to vote for the curfew and make the curfew time permanent for teens. Hold the parents accountable as well. Teens are doing majority of the crime, and you know it, Brandon Johnson. They're even putting it on YouTube. They're openly mocking you. They're mocking you on Instagram and YouTube and all social media platforms, and you allow it every single day. Now,
You do, right? Because you're not doing anything to actually fix the situation. But this is what we're seeing over and over and over again, really throughout the country, okay? So you got crime-ridden cities where mayors are like perfectly fine to just allow it to continue happening. You go out to LA, for example, with Karen Bass, and Karen Bass was furious because DHS showed up at MacArthur Park and they were on horses. And they said, we're going to do a sweep through and we're going to make it very clear that our presence here is known. And she's all mad. She's like, oh, well, you didn't even arrest anyone. Maybe it wasn't even about that. Could you ever think for 2 seconds, Karen Bass, that it might have been about the optics? Maybe they actually wanted to send a message to people. Stop loitering in the park, okay? Because the park is for the people. You have restaurants in the area, local businesses in the area, some of which have had to leave or shut down because the danger of the situation there, given the element of who's in the park, for goodness sakes. And yeah, Karen was livid. She's pulling a LaMonica there, going down and saying, I'm going to fight this myself if I have to get up on a horse. That would be funny.
I am going to say.
Mayor Bass, I need to get my phone and we're departing.
Okay. All right. Mayor Bass.
Mayor Bass.
Oh my
Any
God.
comment, Mayor Bass?
Thank you.
Mayor Bass, any comment?
Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
Who did you speak with?
Just wait and see.
Mayor Bass,
They will be leaving soon.
Mayor, who did you speak with on the phone just now? Who did you speak with on the phone?
The head of customs.
Wow.
So Karen Bass is trying to make her weight known. But, she can't compete with LaMonica. We know that. She can't. She just can't. This is the tape to end all tapes, I'll tell you. It'll be great to see this unfold in court. Don't you think? I mean, I'm waiting to see this whole thing unfold in court because LaMonica is going to have a lot of explaining to do. Oh, whoa, did you see that? Wait a second. I actually have never seen, let me go back and look at that. Okay, watch her. She's the lady in red. Okay, watch this one clip. Whoa, again. Am I seeing things? It looks like she's kind of giving a righty or a lefty to the, whoa, okay. I hadn't quite noticed that.
Give me a break. Did you see her? She was out of control. Those days are over. The days of woke. The days of woke. No, I didn't. The days of woke are over. That woman, I have no idea who she is. That woman was out of control. She was shoving federal agents. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over in this country. We're going to have law and order.
Yes. Because we need it, okay? You can't have this craziness. I just showed you that. You know the DHS PR person, Tricia McLaughlin, she says they've got more video. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing LaMonica have her day in court because this is all going to come out. And you know what? You just can't do it. Like, I don't care if you're a congressperson, you're a senator, you're a governor, like none of that matters. You don't go and like hit ICE agents. Like, what kind of world or third world nation are we living in where that is okay?
We should let viewers know there will likely be more arrests coming. We actually have body camera footage of some of these members of Congress assaulting our ICE enforcement officers, including body slamming a female ICE officer. So we will be showing that to viewers very shortly.
You say a video of members of Congress body slamming ICE
That's correct.
officials?
That's correct, sir. It's disgusting.
Okay, and so if you have that video, are you suggesting that members of Congress will be arrested who were there yesterday?
This is an ongoing investigation, and that is definitely on the table.
Who has the video?
She goes on to say DHS has the video. So this is really kind of, in my estimation, pretty amazing. On top of that, you have Donald Trump out saying there's literally going to be no amnesty whatsoever for any of these people. You got Tom Homan, who echoed the president just moments ago here today. Let me show you this clip. Tom Homan saying, no, I'm with the president, no amnesty.
I can tell you one thing, though. One thing I'm reading in the media that's not true. There will be no amnesty.
We're an American workforce, so all of the above.
We've got to give the farmers the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty. Laura, do you want to say something about that?
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah. So, no amnesty. You hear that? Oh, Brooke Rollins said it too. You're going to hear it from every single department head over and over and over again.
I think I answered the second question, where we are on farm labor, a little bit earlier. But what I will say is that Lori Chavez DeRimmer is our Secretary of Labor. And the H-2A visa program, all of the programs that inure to moving in seasonal ag workers are under Secretary Chavez DeRimmer. She has been working around the clock with her team. I think we'll probably hear a little bit more about this today, and the conversations will continue. But I can't underscore enough, there will be no amnesty. The mass deportations continue, but in a strategic way, and we move the workforce towards automation and 100% American participation, which again, with 34 million people, able-bodied adults on Medicaid, we should be able to do that fairly quickly. Thank you.
I mean, we should, right? We should. So, he wants to make sure the farmers are protected, but it doesn't mean that if you come here on some kind of work visa that you're going to be able to apply for amnesty and you're going to be able to stay here forever. Think about the 532,000 people from Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela that now are getting the word, sorry, those little special visas that Biden gave you, we don't even understand why. Like, what was that? 532,000 people? I mean, I guess you're sending them all to New York, putting them up in hotels. I guess that's about increasing your gerrymandering skills because now you get a bigger population center. You get a few more representatives from New York. Is that the idea? I don't know. I think it's very suspicious, though, on top of which, of course, you had New York looking to put 800,000 people into eligibility to vote that were non-citizens until the appellate court struck it down. I mean, this is kind of wild. You have to understand and think about their motivations, but we're going to go back to the laws, and not, as Kristi Noem well said.
My only question to you, I'd say a question back to you is, which laws in the United States should be enforced and which ones shouldn't? I mean, my job, here's the deal, guys. My job is not to pick and choose which laws we enforce and which ones we don't. We have laws in this country, and they matter. If you want the law changed, go to Congress. When's the last time you went to Capitol Hill and told your senator or representative to change it? That's what they need to do. This is the perfect time for Congress to make a decision on how they want people in this country to be able to have an opportunity to come here legally and to fix this. We, as law enforcement officers and as a national security department and agency, my job is to uphold the law, and that's what I will continue to do.
Well, you know what? Here's the reality of it. Look at this. Naturalization Clause, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. The Congress shall have power to establish rule of naturalization. Okay? Like, it's not that hard. It's just not that hard. And yet they're trying to make this seem like the federal government is the bad guy. The federal government is the boogeyman. You're seeing it over and over again, including, for example, on none other than that lovely show that should be canceled, but somehow miraculously survives, The View. Here's Ana Navarro speaking. I want to show you this, guys. You know, Ana Navarro has been in this country something like 2 decades, but she's still got one heck of an accent. I'm kind of wondering about one of you guys was mentioning that in the chat just yesterday. Here she is.
This is horrible. What's happening is horrible. If you are out there in the Everglades, driving out there and getting out of your car to take a picture like if it was the Eiffel Tower, you are a racist and you are a horrible human being. And, you know, I don't think, and by the way, there's like Cubans who are legal permanent residents who are in that detention center right now, because this is not just about undocumented immigrants. When you are taking away temporary protective status, when you are putting legal permanent residents in detention and deporting them, when you are threatening U.S. citizens that you don't like, that you're going to take away their citizenship, naturalized ones, when you are talking about birthright citizenship and taking that away, this is not about going after the criminals and the gang members. This is about making America white again and otherizing everybody who is an immigrant. Because think about this, just think about this. At the same time that they are rounding up Latino immigrants, brown immigrants, they are opening up the doors for white South Afrikaners fleeing from a non-existent genocide. And so look, this is about, I think, one, deporting people, and two, scaring people out of this country. That is why he said, he has sent people to a gulag in El Salvador, disappeared them, a gulag where people only leave if they're dead. That is why he's using military personnel in LA to go into parks where children are playing, to terrorize people.
And why are Republican congressmen putting up with this?
Because they're a bunch of cowards, as is Marco Rubio, whose grandfather had a deportation order at a time. And I wonder, Marco Rubio, and I'm going to speak to Marco because I've supported him. He was my friend for so many years. Damn it. He built his career on railing against the dictatorships in Cuba and Venezuela and Nicaragua. And he is standing in complicit silence as this administration returns people to those cruel dictatorships.
Well, also utilizing his being of immigrant family members as something to loud and build it off. When he ran, those were things he said. I'm from an immigrant family, so he rose up on that.
Aren't the Trump kids also from immigrant families? I mean,
they're all from immigrant families. Melania is a naturalized citizen. Is he going to take her citizenship away? I don't know. But I want to say one other thing about following the money, because I think that you made a good point, Sarah, because who built and is making money off of Alcatraz? Republican donors. They invested millions to elect congresspeople, to elect Donald Trump, and they are getting rewarded. Democrats are saying this was a pay-for-play scheme. That's what Alcatraz is also about.
They weren't done. CNN also is having a bit of a meltdown, but these people are just not done. They cannot get their heads around the idea of actually having law and order. I want to go back to Obama. Remember, Obama was deporting 1,000 people a day because the idea was if you're here illegally, you're here illegally, and we have to let you go. Now, all of a sudden, it's turned into, okay, you're getting sent to a gulag, and then you saw what many of the others have said, right, in terms of actually making comparisons, heinous comparisons with 1930s Germany.
The way that I think if you're somebody who's really disturbed by things like Alcatraz and feels like the targeting of certain migrants is making you really uncomfortable, call your lawmaker, because what I am seeing is an uptick in rhetoric against CBP and ICE enforcers who are dealing with this problem because they're being told by the President of the United States that they have to. And then this past week, there was a very dangerous attack on CBP officials in McAllen, Texas. Several people were injured. The perpetrator was actually neutralized. But that's also something we don't want to see, is an uptick in violence against law enforcement who are doing their jobs. So if you have a problem with this, talk to your lawmaker. That's the place to do it.
If they would do their jobs the way that I think they should be doing their jobs, which is unmasked without disappearing people from the streets, I don't think that the public would feel as endangered. Because if someone approaches my loved one who's undocumented with a mask, how do I know that they're actual law enforcement? How do I know that they work for ICE? So that's one thing I'll say.
There's actually people who have impersonated ICE officers.
But do they show an ID?
They don't show IDs. They're not dressed appropriately. They're not flagged, and they're masked. And so in my world, if you mask yourself because you don't want to be seen, because there will be a reckoning for some of the actions that law enforcement, actual law enforcement have done. But I'll also say this. I don't want to hear anything ever in this country again about not being able to house people, not being able to, no affordable housing, because they put this thing up in 8 days. 8 days. So where there is a will, there's a way. There is a way.
But that's also not where we would house people in America. We should want better conditions for undocumented migrants and Americans.
Well, I think there's the big, beautiful bill.
Look, this has gotten to the point where I think everybody can be in agreement that there's too much division. Again, I just go back to what the Democrats once said. I can quote Dianne Feinstein, the late Dianne Feinstein, who said, we're not going to become the welfare state for Mexico. We're just not. Or go back to Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or even Joe Biden or anyone in recent times. And they all said the same thing. You cannot have people coming here unchecked. We just can't do it. We can't afford it. And then at some point, I think some little light bulb went off in their head after Donald Trump, of course, came out and said, I'm going to fight this. And, think about what they were saying about Melania, et cetera. The difference is she came here legally. There's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. There is, okay? How is it suddenly wrong for anybody to be against illegal immigration? I mean, you lost me, okay? And you're losing a lot of people. And I just think this is going to continue to be a losing story for all of you. And Donald Trump, he was asked, for example, what do you think about the Padilla bill that would require ICE agents to always wear not wear a mask, forbid them from wearing a mask. And he said, you know what he said? I really question these guys. I question how loyal they are to our country because it feels as though they are on the other side. And that's a real concern. So The View doing what The View does, right? And they're flipping out about all of this as to be expected.